Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to the Minute Channel. It's another day, another video here today, and today we're going to be talking about something that pretty much gets me super disappointed. So a long time ago, when I had started my channel, I had made a video regarding the possibilities of an Avengers game based on a 20-second trailer that we had seen from E3 at the time. Because I had played Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man for the PS4, and I was like, you know what? I really enjoyed the game. I can see where they can take this from to the Avengers games, and the reason for that was because of a quote from one of the developers up at the Spider-Man game, which said that they consider this to be the Iron Man of the MCU for the games and everything. So in my mind I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna kickstart this massive wave of games that they're gonna develop based on how good Spider-Man did on the PS4 and everything. So in my mind I was like, this is really good potential, there's a lot of good stuff in here. But ever since, every single piece of news that we had for the Marvel's Avengers game has been the opposite of good. It has been a total letdown in a lot of different sense. It's been really odd looking in some aspects, and some aspects kind of almost like this game is a total cash grab. That's how I feel about the game. And unfortunately, now that I got my hands on it, that's what I played the beta, quite a bit of it. So I don't have any footage for the game. I didn't actually bother to record any footage for the game when it comes to the thing. I just didn't really want to record any. I have some footage here that you can look and everything like that. And this is based on the real stuff we saw. But honestly, this game just did some stuff that I didn't like. And let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's go ahead and talk about this in detail and everything. So first things first, let's go give some props. The game does look okay. It looks good. It doesn't look bad or anything like that. However, there is something odd about the character models they chose for these people. The Avengers almost looked at the Avengers from the movies, but not really, and it's really jarring. I wish they had made them probably closer to the comics or something like that, kind of to offset the balance and everything. But some of them just, especially some people, and particularly Thor, for example, just looks super odd and a little bit bizarre when you look at it close to face and everything like that. That being said, some aspects do look pretty good. Kamala, for example, looks pretty good, and some of the characters look pretty interesting, and the game overall doesn't look bad. It looks okay. It doesn't look like a super next gen or anything like that, but it looks good. It's not a really ugly looking game or anything like that. Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics do pretty well looking games, so this game is not ugly or anything like that. Pop-ins or anything like that aside, the game looks good. So let's talk about the actual game and the gameplay, because this is where the game kind of starts to fall apart short really. So one of the biggest things that I caught me by surprise was the way that they approached the gameplay loop. This game seems to be some sort of a combination between what you will expect to be an Avengers games with some kind of gameplay almost like Destiny or the looter shooter style gameplay, where you go on waves and waves of enemy or unlock new loot which you equip to yourself, and you do this over and over again. There's waves and waves of enemy you fight and so on and so forth, and you get to this kind of a story mode kind of thing where you co-op with other people and everything like that. I don't particularly like this gameplay too much. I admit that I probably thought about that this game was gonna be co-op because this is an Avengers game, but to be frank, I expected this to be a single player only game, maybe with couch co-op or maybe like a smaller experience. But this looks like this is gonna be one of those live services games. No, this is not gonna be. This is literally what they said. This is gonna be a live service game, which is gonna be continuing on and on forever with mini missions and more add-ons and more patches and so on as the game grows and everything like that. To me, at this point, the gameplay itself is boring in some sense. It's fun for the first hour or two. I'm not gonna lie, when I started playing as Thor, I was enjoying myself. Thor feels and plays pretty good. In fact, other characters feel really good. Even somebody like Black Widow, which you wouldn't really think that she would play super good, was pretty good to play. Some of the characters play pretty good. However, some of them don't look and play good. For example, Hulk was just really boring, and first 2 hours that's literally the character you're playing as. Kamala, the other character, she plays okay. She's like a combination between Spider-Man and Thor. Hulk and everything, and it just doesn't really work for me in that sense. She's fine and she's the main character, so it is what it is in that sense. However, as I progressed playing the game more, I realized that I wasn't really enjoying myself as much, and in fact, I was almost getting bored of the gameplay. The gameplay at some point just kept on feeling like it was dragging and dragging. I'm going through waves of enemies and enemies, and I'm like, I really just want to get through with the story and see what's going on next. You know, like I want to see that part of the story and everything like that. So I don't think that there's a good balance between the gameplay and the story elements. The story seems okay. It's a pretty generic comic book storyline and everything, kind of like save the day, they messed up, now you have to go on and see what happened next and everything, with a few twists and turns and everything. It's a pretty generic comic book storyline and everything. I don't see it particularly as this like wonder, like, oh my god, it grabbed me instantly or anything like that. Regrettably, everything that we saw on the trailers is literally the beginning of the game, so you're sitting through the same cutscenes over and over again, because these cutscenes have been shown to us plenty of times before in E3 trailers or in other trailers later on and everything like that. So everything that we've seen so far is literally what the game is. That's literally it. There's no shocks or surprises. There's nothing in the first hour or two that really grabs you. So like, here's where you should stay because the story is really good. I never felt any of that. For now, the game is a total letdown for me. I don't think this is gonna be a game that I want to be buying anytime soon. I may get it once they get like 2 or 3 updates down the line or everything like that. Destiny did the same thing with its Destiny, and then there's this other big updates that they did that you pay extra for and everything, and then you get the real game where also everything's just more condensed. There's just more content. There's a lot more stuff to do and everything like that. As for now, I don't see that this game, I think, other than a crash grab, I think that this game is probably gonna do good because people are invested in the Marvel universe and everything like that. So I'm sure a lot of people will still buy the game and everything. For myself, I expect more from games. I expect more from Square Enix at this point. They've done some pretty good games. They've won some pretty letdowns as well. So I'm kind of like in the boat where I'm just probably gonna wait for this game. Anyway, that is pretty much in this video here. If you're new, please consider liking and subscribing. Let me know what you think about this game, if you like it or not. I just don't think it's worth a buy right now. I feel like it will be worth buying maybe down the line later on, once I have more updates and more upgrades and more stuff to look forward to and everything. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. I'll see you guys next time.